Hey YouTube, it's JP Dillon. This is an Eico 150 solid-state signal tracer from their mid-1970s. This was given to me by a viewer of the channel, the Android Man. And as you may remember, the dual Sony, like a TCW R850 or something like that I serviced for him, was also a challenge. This one, as we'll see in a moment, needs some work in the power supply and some capacitors. I need another good signal tracer with a lot of smaller transistor radios that have been coming in lately. Scopes are nice and all, but for simpler stuff, this is a much better option. So let me just plug it in and I'll show you what it's currently doing. As you can see, we got quite a bit of hum there. And it gets worse as you crank it up there, so we need to go inside and replace a couple of capacitors and definitely clean the pots and switches. So let's crack it open and see what's inside. So with the 4 screws removed from the back, this thing comes apart pretty easy. Give me a moment to fish the cord through. So this is a pretty nice build. It's all steel chassis. You've got one fiberglass PCB there that looks really nice. You've got our capacitors here. These are very likely getting tired. We'll get out the ESR meter. And then very likely the majority of these are just tired. And all this really is just a nice high gain cap coupled amplifier with some detectors for the RF section. You've got a substitute output transformer, which is kind of cool. So you can troubleshoot antique radios that way. So let's get at our ESR meter and see what these things register. They look to be 470 microfarad. Yeah, 470 at 35, so nothing special. But there's definitely a lot of hum getting into the speaker, so I'm concerned that they're going south. Let's find out. Alright, so here's cap number 1. He checks okay. There's cap number 2. Really? Nothing? Well, there's your problem. Alright, so cap number 2 is open. And let's see here, some of these other guys. He's okay. And then these little signal path guys here. Like 1 microfarad and stuff. He's kind of open. Make sure I got it on both leads here. He's very open. And then the other guy here, he's hanging on. And this guy over here, dead. Alright, so we got some caps to replace. Might as well just do the whole thing. And this should be a much happier machine. Okay, so we're all set up here. Let me shake the camera some more so everyone gets motion sickness. In fact, let's kill this. Alright, much better. Get out our solder wick and start desoldering the old caps. And I'm sure I'm going to get in the way of things here, so it's a very tight space where the camera can sit and where I'm soldering from, so I apologize if things get in the way, but that's just going to be how it is. We're just going to start removing caps. And you're more than welcome to fast forward through the boring parts here, because this is going to get really boring. Because all we're essentially doing is just removing solder. It's around the end of September. It's hurricane season in Florida, and I think they're about to get whacked by some huge ass storm. And reading posts from friends on Facebook around that area, and they're going to get hit hard. At least that's what the predictions are. So, hope everything goes well for those folks. Let's see here. This one could be tricky up here because, yeah, there's a solder joint that's like right there for that capacitor. Hold on a second, I'm going to try to slide up underneath here and see if I can't get that out, because otherwise I got to pull the board up. Yeah, I can get in there. All right. Save a little bit of hassle. Okay. And again, we're going to shake the camera so that everyone's motion sickness. We aim to please. Okay, who else? There's another one with the trace up underneath the chassis. Here's the bottom part. I more or less like to do everything in batches. Unsolder everything, yank it out, put the new stuff in. So I'm going to tilt this up so I can get at the other joint up top, which is just tucked underneath the chassis. Okay. And let's see who's left here. Looks like we got that 22 microfarad there, and this one here, and then the 3 ones in the back. And then I should be able to pull those out. Those 1 microfarads were pretty dead. And then we'll check and see if we did our work correctly. Oh, and we got to clean the dirty switches. And that noisy control. And if you're wondering about all the wind noise in the background, there's a heat wave happening here today. We've been consistently mid to high 90s for the last 4 or 5 days. And so I get here in the morning and I turn the AC on and get the building cool, because we usually end up getting rolling blackouts here because our energy policies are perhaps not the best. All right. So this should be the next 1 microfarad. California is an example of what happens when feelings and ideologies run a government and run a state into the ground. That's my opinion, having lived here all my life. And we just keep electing the wrong people. And I don't know how that keeps happening. It seems like anyone with their right mind would not choose the people that are running this place. Alright, so this is the last 1 microfarad. We'll get him loose. Or try to anyway. And I know people say I should get a desoldering station. But I've been doing it this way for a long time. I don't feel like investing new equipment when this works for me. Okay, so now what's left is the 2 22 microfarad, which is going to be just adjacent to the big guys and this guy up here. And then we'll start yanking them and just replacing them with what we have. And we'll fire it up and see how we did. There's that one there. And that's what I thought, right next to the diodes. Okay. Last one. Okay, I think that's loose enough. All right, so let's bring this up a little bit. Allow me to do that. Come on. Okay, so now we're going to start yanking parts here. I will give these a little wiggle so I don't risk tearing them from the foil traces. And all right, let's get what I need. All right, so we got our small handful of caps here. And we're just going to start yanking. And I'm going to replace as I go along. So here's that 1 microfarad. And there's the one that's going in. Just going to bend the leads out to the approximate dimensions of the old one and pop it in. And just repeat this process until we've repopulated all of them. There's another 1 microfarad. Okay. Try to get those leads as flush with the deck as possible. Here's another one. Another 1 microfarad. Let's see. Oh, one short. Let me go grab another one. Thought I had gotten all of them, but apparently I was wrong. This guy over here. Oh, you're a 10 microfarad, not a 22. All right, I screwed up. Let me go swap out the 22 for a 10. All right, so 10 microfarad it is. I assumed, and you know what happens when you assume. You make an ass of you and me. I could get my fat fingers to cooperate with me today. That'd be great. Come on. This is the 22. So see what I'm doing here is I'm folding them out and I'm doing right angles at approximately the original distance of the axial cap. So it just kind of drops in there like that. I mean, that's what they did with these. I don't know if this was a factory assembled kit or if it was his assembly. Corrosion on those leads. Hard to see because the camera won't focus. Let's see if I can bring it into view here. Come on. Come on. Nope, we aren't going to do that today. Not today. Alright. Well, anyway, there's a bunch of crusty corrosion on the leads, suggesting that the cap was either outgassing or it was stored in an area where it was a lot of moisture. Look at the size difference. 470 at 35. And this is 105 degree too, so it's like a better part, even though it's a Rubicon. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Rubicon capacitors. They're okay, not great. But they are 10,000 hour, or so they purport to be. This looks like this is barely going to reach. It'll probably fall out when I go to solder it in, knowing my luck. Okie dokie. Last one to go in, and then we'll start resoldering it. Yeah, this one will fall out for sure. Okay. Oh, no, we got these two guys here. 100 microfarads at 35 volts. And then this will be fun because I have to push the lead past the spot in the chassis. And let's go ahead and fold out our leads. Try to gauge where I'm going to make the angles here. Nope, needs to be sharper than that. Let's try this. Much better. Let's see, now I have to take my hemostats and push in here so that the lead will go past the chassis point. Alright, next one. Okay. Look at all these fun tricks you learn, huh? Alright, so everything's in. I suspect that that back cap rack here is going to fall out when I go to solder it in. So we're going to be a little bit craftier. Oh yeah, you want to fall out. Okay. So what I'm going to have to do here is get some solder on my tip and get enough on there to transfer. Like that. Yep, and the camera's going to be moving because I'm going to have to bump it a couple times, so I apologize for that. There's one. Let me reset it real quick. Alright. One of my leads popped out. Yeah, this guy decided to come up. Let's see if we can make that a little bit better. See, he's not even totally coming through now. I may have to improvise on the leads. Let's see if that's any better. I doubt it. I just need it to protrude, but it's not going to. All right, so the leads aren't long enough on that cap. It just doesn't want to do it. So here's what I'm going to have to do instead is solder a post in there and then wrap around the post. That's always fun. So I'm going to feed this post through just enough, solder the post in, I have so many uses for these little bits of leads that I've cut off of installed components. Stuff like this, it just makes it work. And then what I can do is just bend this over and we'll hook it around. Come on. We'll hook it around so there's a decent mechanical connection. And then we'll solder them together. So now, as you can see there, I've got a nice solder connection there that holds that in place. And so now I can go back underneath and I can solder the remaining leg here. And we'll do all these other guys up while we're under here. All right. Now I'm going to have to go up under here to solder these guys, so you're going to be looking at the speaker for a little bit while I do that. Almost done. And then I just have to clip the excess from the top. Okay, let me get my flush cutters. Make sure those leads aren't shorting out against anything. And then we'll trim the rest off. Yeah, just gotta shake it out now. All right, give it a little shake. Looks like everybody's in there and happy. So let's, wow. I don't know if you can see that down here on the switch, the funky green stuff, fancy corrosion. All right. So let me get some deoxit for the switch. See if I can angle this a little bit more here. We're just going to work this a bunch. got a lead or two that I missed cutting off here. Hold on. There we go. Okay, and then we'll take some fader lube and do the potentiometer there. Just clean that a bunch. All right. That's good. I guess the next thing here is to turn it on and see if it actually behaves itself. I assume it will. That's about normal. Still a little dirty there, but not bad. I can get up next to it, and it's only the tiniest little bit of hum there. Yeah, it's nice to have the probe. Let's see here. Okay. I don't know if this is just a function of the dirty plug. I mean, it could be. I'm going to spray some cleaner in the socket here so we can get a better connection on the plug. Alright. Now if I just had some stuff to toy around with. Well, surprisingly, I don't have any transistor radios in the shop right now to work on. So the next transistor radio video we do that needs some signal tracing, we'll be sure to use this guy. So good to have this in the arsenal. I've got some really old tube-based ones too, but this was such a nice gift and so easy to service. So thank you to the Android man. This is a cool little toy I'm going to enjoy using. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed watching the video. More stuff to come soon.